Welcome to the Green Mile, where we first get a bunch of dudes looking through a field, then an old fart in an old fart home, asking for some breakfast, then this dude asks him, are you gonna wander off again? Probably. Are you gonna stop me? Nope. Sweet! Thanks, guy. And the old fart takes off on his daily secret walk with a skip in his step, and makes it all the way over to his secret fuck shack. Just kidding, it's actually where he keeps his rape victims. Kidding again. It's actually, no, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. Cut to all the ancient people watching TV when one of them goes, why are we watching this inbred trash? It's interesting. Shut the fuck up, Margaret. And he changes the channel to a film that makes the main character, old fart guy, our guy, cry, and his lady friend gets concerned for him, and they go and talk, and he tells her about the time when he was a prison guard in charge of death row inmates back in 1935. For reference, that is a time where both normal toilets and outhouses were used in America at the same time, because, I don't know, America. Don't know how that's meant to help, but you got reference now. So I flash back to reality. Oh, there goes 1935, where the movie actually begins with him having a broken penis that makes him feel like lava is passing through it every time it's in use, and Paul, that's his name, Paul has a ragtag team of prison guards. We got Officer Chewing Gum, Pretty Boy, Black Brows, and Percy Coxon, who is a grade A, top-of-the-line pump action retard with SPS, which is evident by the fact that he keeps yelling dead man walking while bringing in the new inmate. Not the smartest idea to make the person you're about to take the chains off to put them in their cell very, very angry, especially if they're this big. What a super idiot. Anyway, Paul knows this fact, and the new arrival, one big fella, Mr. John Cappuccino, liked to drink but not spelled like it. It's spelled Coffey. Confused? Good, fuck you. Percy, because he's a dumb bitch, is told to leave because they don't want coffee to kill him, so he reluctantly does so, and he walks away. Dick shrinks just a little tiny bit, and he breaks the fingers of this prisoner for laughing at him. And these four guys are trying to be as nice as they can be to people who are knowingly going to die, while still bearing in mind that they probably did very horrible shit to get a death penalty. So they're riding a fine line between go fuck yourself and being nice. John, though, is a harmless little butterflier, except he's fucking massive. He even asks if they keep a light on during bedtime. So they lock him up and think he's retarded, but apparently the court has deemed him sane enough and fit enough to be executed. And we jump back and forth between shots of Paul reading John's court transcript of what happened in the court, and John being found with two little dead girls in his hands that belong to this white man. And this is the search party we saw in the beginning of the movie. Alright, so apparently what he did, or what they gathered from the wounds of the children, is that he raped them and murdered them. And then tall dickhead guy comes over. He's the important prisoner man, warden maybe, I don't know, important guy. All right, important guy in prison. He's friends with Paul and also his boss. So Paul's like, how's the wife? Terrible. Attaboy. And then the dickhead tells the other dickhead about ultra dickhead Percy. And real quick, in the interest of time, let me give you a quick overview of this moron. See, he's a cunt and a son of an important guy or something, which means that he has connections and is slightly untouchable. And through these connections, he has a high-paying job lined up for him after this. He's just hanging about here as a prison guard to satisfy his stupid male ego and piss off everybody else. Also, he's a snitch and he's evil, if you didn't already fucking gather that. So Guy tells Paul that Percy bitch snitched about him telling Percy to fuck off while he's putting John in his cell to keep him safe, and he didn't like that because, you know, super male ego. And Paul figures that once this dude sees another dude gets executed, his evil thirst will be quenched and he will fuck off and take the other job and be out of their hair. Then at night, his wife's like, come here and put your schlong in my thong. And he's like, honey, my dick don't work. And then next day, three of the dudes without Percy find a mouse, and Officer Chewing Gum throws him some food saying, I just want to see what he does. So he eats it and then runs away into the straight room that is full of garbage, which they empty to find the mouse, but they don't find him, so they have to put all that shit back inside. Then on another shift where this retarded slut is present, the mouse shows up again, and I don't know who the hell this guy is, but he throws it some food and it's like, let's see what he does. Why is everyone so fucking fascinated and curious with what happens when they give a wild animal some food? It's either gonna stay or leave, regardless of whether or not it eats the food. That being said, I'm pretty sure me and 90% of males would do and say the exact same shit. Anyway, Percy, because he's an evil asshole, flips out and tries to kill it with horrible, just the worst aim against their orders. It runs back into the straight room. Paul and Gum Guy hear what's going on inside. They rush in there only to find him, you know, running after the mouse and trying to clear the room again. So in order to like fuck around with him a bit, they don't tell him that they already tried to do that and let him clear it out. Then obviously he doesn't find the mouse, and Paul comes back with the gang like, why are you being so loud, freaking us and the prisoners out? And he's like, who cares? They're gonna die anyway, and they're big gay, you're big gay too, and my penis is definitely longer than 2 inches. They make him clean the place up again. Then the prisoner next in line for the electric chair gets to see his family for the last time, and while he does that, they do a practice run of the death run with a batshit crazy dude that I thought was a prisoner, but I believe is just their insane janitor. Is doing rehearsal runs of the last mile really necessary? It seems pretty straightforward to me. You just pick him up, let him pray, strap him in, flip a switch, and you're done. What the fuck is there to remember? Is it for the other prisoners to get calm with the idea of going to die, or is it for the new guy to learn how it's done? Which honestly don't really need to do. It's still pretty straightforward. Maybe it's because Paul wants to run a tight ship around here, so he does rehearsals and stuff. Is this even a thing in the real world? I don't know, whatever. Seems more like a reason for the movie to tell us that they have to put a wet sponge between the soon-to-be dead guy's head and the zap cap so he doesn't fucking explode or go to too much pain, because that's inhumane and it gets bad results or something, okay? Then the time for Chief Chitulu comes, and Paul is trying to comfort him like,
you'll be fine. You'll do fine.
No, he's not. He's gonna die. That's the whole point, limp dick fuck ass. So they strap him in, hood goes on, wet sponge goes on, cap on, flip the switch, zippity zap twice because dumbass operator cut the power too early and guy was still alive, so that do it twice. Then once he's done proper, Percy disrespects his dead body and Book gets mad at him for that. So he goes,
what's up his ass?
you. Holy shit, I'm in sync with Mr. Thanks. So Paul tells Percy to take the other job, but Bitchy says that he wants to give the flip switch order next time, and then he promises to leave. If not, he'll stay forever. So Paul's like, fine, cut. And they all find out that one of the prisoners, Dell, like the company, but not spelled like it, has made friends with him out sometime to do tricks. I don't know how the fuck he managed to do that, but he did teach him how to play fetch with the spindle thing. So they give him a cigar box so that Mr. Jingles, the mouse, he has been named Mr. Jingles, can sleep in it if he wants. Percy's even the one that suggested it. He's trying to act nice and all, right? Then Paul goes to Hal, that's his name I found out, and Hal tells Paul that his wife has got an inoperable brain tumor and is going to die. Paul's sympathetic and all, but he got his own problems because his dick don't work, and that night he wakes up brimming with piss, so he tries to make it to his outhouse. Told you these dipshits still using that. Anyway, he can't make it and ends up peeing fire onto the grass, and next day he's like, fine, I'll go to the doctor. What the bloody fuck? Would you please get full coverage on that piece of toast, Hanks? Sloppy. So he's gonna go to the doctor, but only after he goes to work to get this new inmate in, and he goes to work in excruciating pain. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang are picking up this rotten egg death row inmate from the Crazy People Hospital, and he seems to be doped up for transport. However, that seems to be fraudulent when they arrive because he is faking it and he attacks them once they get there, and Percy just stands still, stammered there, pussy-like, can't do shit even though he's ordered to help out. Prisoner beats up all of them, and Brute walks in and helps out. He takes control of the situation while Percy's balls shoot back up into his body and get absorbed by him. Then they put away the unconscious fat cut, and Paul tells Officer Chewing Gum to take away Beat Up Pretty Boy and Black Brows to get looked at by a doctor while he holds down the fort. I don't know where the fuck Percy went, not that he's gonna be any use, but that's not the important bit here. Why the hell was a person that was deemed sane enough to be executed by the court kept in a mental institution if they are not gonna dope him for transport? Why wasn't he in some like a holding cell, for example? Someone explain. Anyway, they leave and Paul melts in pain because his wee-wee is so wee-wee hurting, you know? And John's bitching and whining to see him, so he goes over to John. He's like, come closer. He's like, fine. Then John Frappuccino's just like, I just want to help, and he grabs him, then cups his balls gently while the lights grow stronger, then bursts and Dell yells for help. Then John lets him go and coughs out a bunch of flies that disappear and goes, I'm awfully tired now, boss. Dog tired. Then he rests while Paul is what the fucking super hard. He then goes to test out his dingling, and hallelujah, a painless, uninterrupted stream of golden excellence straight out of his weezer. Doesn't even need to look at the bowl, just no scopes him, motherfucker. Damn right, damn right. But further testing is required, so he goes home, locks on his target, and he's like, sweet cheeks, back that thing up and swish swish on my 100% functional dish, and they quadruple bang through the night till the sunrise. And she's like, we haven't fucked like that since we were teenagers. What happened yesterday? And he's like, well, I didn't go to the doctor yesterday, so you're the proud new owner of a brand new UTI. He then calls in sick that morning, and truth be told, I have no clue what he did or did not tell his wife, but he ends up going to the fucker that defended John in court, who proceeds to compare black people to animals like a jackass cumloid and thinks that John is guilty. But Paul don't really believe that, so he gives him some cornbread and that he shares with Dell, but not this shit cunt because, well, he's a cunt and he's all like hashtag slavery, so fuck him. He then spits on Paul and pees on Black Brows, which earns him a trip to the restraint room, and after that he puts his own shit in his mouth and spits it onto Brute, and he gets himself another trip to the padded room.
I hope your bags are packed.
My bags are packed! I'm ready to go! Where are we going?
Where the fuck do you think, shithead? Anyway, Dell gets taken away to show his mouse perform for his folks, prison guards, and a plumber. In the meantime, they do a couple of rehearsals, and when he's back, Bitchy is kind of a bitch to Dell, but is all good because mouse shit gets a hold of him, and then when he lets go, we find out that he literally scared the piss out of him. Then later, while deciding where Mr. Jingle's gonna reside after Dell bids his farewell to this world, they're trying to be nice and make up this fantasy place called Mouse City, or Mouseville, sorry, that has a circus and shit where mice can perform, and Dell, being a simple-minded little idiot serial killer guy, believes this Santa Claus story and is happy for his little buddy and tries to play fetch with him one last time, but gets knocked off the fucking chair leg or whatever, and into the hallway. Mouse goes out, chase after it, and boom! Fucking crushes him. Dell gets sad as fuck, and I'm pretty sure anybody who's watched this movie will agree with me that this is the most devastating death in this whole movie. Am I right, guys? No one agrees. Okay, moving on. Jonathan Malcocino has his hands out like, give it to me, there might still be time. So Paul does that, and they all witness as he literally breathes life back into the rodent, and then burps out some disappearing flies again. And did Shitmouse see this, or was he asleep, or something like that? Real question is, why isn't John dog-tired from this, considering all the other shit he does that exhausts him? He literally brought life back. Anyway, Mouse back to life and Boss Percy bad. Speaking of that halfwit, he's cleaned the chair and didn't witness this mouse miracle, this mouseicle. That sounds like a dead mouse on a popsicle. Do not visualize that. Paul and Brute tell him that the mouse is fine. He goes back to check, and he what the fuck's in disbelief. Then when he comes back, they roughen him up a bit and double check that he's gonna leave after Dell's execution, or else he'll tell his superiors about his lack of testicles when shit hit the fan with Shitmouth, and he attacked them and he didn't do anything, which looks really bad on a work record, and he doesn't want that. So he promises that he's gonna leave after Dell's execution. Then Dell's time comes and they give away Mr. Jingles to John for safekeeping while the deed is done, which is pretty sad. Damn it, Dell, why'd you have to fucking run over those children in that school bus? I don't know what he did, I'm just speculating. Anyway, he gets strapped into Sparky and apologizes for what he did, tells Paul not to forget about Mouseville, so Pissface goes,
Hey, there's no such place. That's just a fairy tale these guys told you to keep you quiet. Just thought you should know.
You're the fucking faggot. I swear I'm about to throw a PNG arm at the stupid motherfucking retard. And the evil does not stop there because he does not wet the sponge, and Paul does not notice this until the last second because he's thinking at sloth speeds and reaction time at sloth speeds. Motherfucking hoe playing on Australian servers because the switch is flipped and Del is in a whole lot of pain, but they dare not turn the thing off while he's literally catching fire because that would be too cool to keep him alive like that. So they force Pissface to watch as he literally burns to death and fries while people panic and they try to run out the barn. Why are the barn doors closed? And how did they not notice this earlier? I know there's a storm going on, but the water has this very distinct drippy droppy sound, and on top of that, why the fuck is no one going over Percy when he's doing all this shit, at least with their eyes? You already know he's a diabolical asshole. Fucking morons. Anyway, John feels Del's pain and lets go of the mouse. It could apparently feel his pain through him, and it runs into the straight room and never comes back, and Hal comes down like, what in the blue fuck was that? But Paul covers for Pisshead to make sure that he fucking leaves. Then later, Paul and his wife go to see Hal and his tumor wife, Melinda, who's having a good day, where her brain tumor is not altering her personality into a rotten mouse succubus. Then next day, he invites the boys over for some food and tells them that he wants to take John over to Melinda to fix her tumor, and that he does not believe that John did anything wrong. They agree, and they decide that the pretty boy stays behind because he's still got kids, and the rest of them have nothing to lose if they get caught. They then drug Shitmouth, who falls asleep with his eyes open, and interrupt Pisshead's porno reading session. He was pretending to read like knowledge about his new job or whatever, but he's actually fucking horny. So they put him in a straitjacket and throw him into the padded room. Did that book actually fall onto the table? Because it looked like it fell on the ground. Anyway, they're all set to go, and Pretty Boy has some bullshit alibis in place for them. And although they didn't tell Coffee what they were gonna do, he already kind of knows. He's like talking about car rides and the woman in the rocking chair, and they're kind of creeped out. But hey, they keep going, and on their way out, Fecal Mattermouth springs up and grabs John, starts talking mad racist shit for someone within head squishing distance, and John sort of gets shockwaves through his body until light pops, and then only then does Paul remove his arm. Why did you not remove his arm faster off black magic, you stupid Why are you so slow at everything? Doesn't matter. Poop Face fucking passes out again, and they break Ferdinand Bull out of prison and load him into a truck. On the way, they ask him, how the fuck do you know about all this shit? And the woman in the chair, he's like, I don't know, man. They arrive at Hal's house, and he greets them with a double barrel, like, what the hell's happening? Paul's like, trust me. And then Melinda shouts, get those fucking piece of shit garbage off my goddamn porch. And John comes up like, boss, I'm just trying to help, boss. Takes the gun away. He enters the house and goes upstairs to Melinda, and they watch in horror as he fucking brutally chokes her to death. Why am I such a dick? Why'd I have to ruin everything? He obviously doesn't do that, and he actually starts sucking the tumor out of her sickly face, and the light glows harder, the ground shakes, cause this ain't no mere penis infection. This is fucking big time, baby. This whole ass tumor. So he heals her, and she wakes up sort of kerfuddled and confused, but she remembers John from a dream. She gives him her necklace and a hug. Then the boys take him down to the car, then back to prison, back to his cell, all the while he's not in very much good shape. He still has not coughed out all the disappearing flies. Then they go to free this bitch asshole like, we got friends in high places too, so you best fuck off. Then they let the crybaby out, and while he's adjusting his effects, John's there. He grabs hold of him, and he shoots a full tumor worth of flies into his mouth directly. He lets him go, then Percy, with no words said, poker face, goes over to Shitface's cell while Shitface is waking up, cries, then shoots him dead. They tackle him and he barfs out all the nasty flies. Then Paul goes over to John like, what in the Lord's name was that? And he explains that he took care of the two bad men, and when Shitmouth touched him, he saw what he actually did and all the crimes he committed. And he takes Paul's hand to show him a gift and show him what he saw when he touched him, which is that he's the one that committed the crime that John is in for. What a coincidence that they both end up in this place. Also, I don't really know how John ended up finding the two girls. Maybe he stumbled upon them on a walk. I don't know. They didn't really say. Anyway, Paul climaxes his way through these past vision whatevers, and he feels John's pain. Then Pisshead gets sent to a lunatic pornography, which is totally what Looney Bin stands for, because he's basically brain dead right now. Or as this fine gentleman so eloquently puts it,
I think this boy's cheese slid off his cracker.
I'm gonna write that down. Anywho, Paul doesn't know what to do, and he asks John if he wants to be freed because he doesn't want to execute basically an innocent angel, but John's like, no, kill me, do it. See, he is done with the foolishment and evil of this world because he feels the pain too strongly, and as far as he's concerned, Paul going ahead with this is him performing a kindness to him. Guess that's why he didn't really try and defend himself in court or try and prove his innocence. Also, not like it would have made a difference. He's a black dude in the depression. Sad reality is he's fucked either way. This is just a terrible situation overall. Pretty sad. Moving on, because this video is long enough already. They try and pamper him up with his choice of foods and a flicker show, the same one that old fart Paul cries at in the beginning of the movie because John's execution memory hits too hard, which transpired like this, with him being very calm and happy, having had a nice dream before the day of his execution, and in the chair everyone who knows got tears in their eyes. Pretty Boy straight up just turned on the waterworks. Even the switch operator seems to be sort of sad with tears in his eyes, which is kind of odd since he had zero contact with John throughout the whole movie. Maybe they told him stories and he believed them. Who cares? Moving on. Prepare for the big sad, because John says I'm sorry for what I am and requests to have the mask off because he's afraid of the dark. Paul shakes his hand, they flip the switch, and all the lights go to shit because an angel's fucking dying, hombre. After that we come back to old Paul and the bitch he talking to, who's like, you said you had a grown ass boy back there. The math doesn't check out. All this shit don't make no sense. I call bullshit. So he takes her on a walk to his shed, and at this moment, I seriously thought he was gonna show her the dead corpse of his son, but thank fuck, it's only Mr. Jingles, because he found him after John's zapping, and he even proves it's him with an old, feeble, but successful attempt at playing fetch, and explains to her that maybe during Dell's execution, John felt his pain, so did the mouse through John, and some of the miracle leaked into this Mr. Jingles, giving him like this super long life, and the same stuff happened to him when he took his hand and gave him that gift or the visions of Shitmouth's crimes, and he goes, bitch, I'm 108 years old, and he believes since he killed one of God's miracles or whatever, that he is cursed with a super duper long, but not eternal life, seeing everyone that he loves die. This movie gets 7,000 depressions out of 4 soybeans.